Hi guys, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko with, guess what? Another short video on a vintage Pachinko machine. This is a Sankyo. Actually, let's see. Where are we here? This is a 1978 Sankyo. This was had a functional restoration done to it. So I want to tell you a little more about what I do when I do a functional restoration, and then there's some kind of cool things that that I'll tell you about on the backside. I also just made a video that sort of from this machine on how to make your own wiring harness. So you might want to check that out too. So when I do a functional restoration, the reason that I do a functional restoration on some machines and not others, I much prefer to do a full restoration because, in my opinion, most machines need it, and it's the right thing to do long-term for your Pachinko machine. It'll, once it's been fully restored, all the wood is protected, so on and so forth, then that machine's going to just last forever and be beautiful. But there are some reasons to do partial or functional restorations. Cost obviously is a consideration, but with Sankyo, their backgrounds were printed right on a piece of white Formica. So the colors don't fade and they're not susceptible to water damage like the paper playfields are. So this whole playfield is in really nice shape, good color. Granted, it's dirty from 50 years, but it's in pretty decent shape. Now, this particular machine was probably one of the most smoke-filled machines I've ever worked on. So when I do a functional restoration, there are some things that have to be done, and I'll explain. This whole unit in here has thousands and thousands and thousands of balls passed through it years ago. It is absolutely filthy. So the inside of this is just full of debris, dirt, cigarette smoke residue, so on and so forth, as is the ball handling mechanism. This whole mechanism right in here that feeds the balls onto the track one at a time as you press the launch lever down. This whole thing was almost black. It was just horrible. So this comes out, gets completely disassembled and cleaned. This comes off. All of this got taken off and cleaned and then all reassembled. And then I also take this off just because this one wasn't as easy to take off as most, but I take this off because usually it's just the three nuts on the backside. I clean the ashtrays up. They're aluminum. When the importers got these things, they just sprayed aluminum paint in here, silver paint, sprayed right over the ashes. Just, I don't know, whatever they were thinking. So I go in with a Dremel and a wire wheel and just scrub all that paint off and get the aluminum to shine back up again. Give it a little bit of wax to bring some of the shine back to the plastic. With a functional restoration, I don't take anything off. I don't pull the nails. With this particular playfield, you wouldn't want to pull the nails anyway, unless you were going to put a new playfield on top of it, which I have done in the past. So the nails are still tarnished. The playfield is still dirty. The attractions are still dirty. Not horrible, but it's not something that gets done when you do a functional restoration. So that's what I do on the front. This is kind of a cool machine on the back, and now you'll see why. It's completely clear, with the exception of the feed tray. It's one of the few machines I've ever seen that is completely clear. So when I first got this, it was almost black. It pretty much looked like just absolute blackness. It was all smoke, really ugly, and whatever. So the nice thing about these is this just lifts out, and then the back itself is hinged. So you release these catches here and the whole back will release out and or lift off. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things, and I'm looking for something and I just found it, so bear with me. There we go. Okay, so I don't think you can see it, but down in this corner Let me see if I can get the camera down where I want it. Down in this corner, where this hold thing was, this whole piece of plastic back here, not the cover, but this piece of plastic back here was shattered. So it all just fell off when I took everything out. So it's not a super important thing, and I did put some glue in there, but I'll show you something that if you don't have and you're going to work on pachinkos, it's not a bad thing to get, and that is one of these. This is a plastic welder. So what you do with this plastic welder is it comes with a whole variety of, for lack of a better term, these little staples. So what you do is you put the staple in the end of the gun here, like that, okay? You can see it right there. So if you, for example, there's no good place to do it on this, but with this piece being flat and a break, what you do is you take the gun, so say these two pieces were broken, you put them together and you lay that staple right where the break is, and you squeeze the trigger on this thing and it heats that staple up, and that staple will melt into the plastic, and as soon as it gets in far enough, you let go and you wait a few seconds to let the heat dissipate from the staple, and then you go like that. Now what it'll do is it leaves the staple behind in the plastic, and then you just cut the excess off. So I'm gonna, now that you know what I'm talking about, let me see if I can get in closer here on this piece that I worked on. And right along this edge, you might be able to see a staple, and then there's a couple more up in here. So I used the stapler, plastic stapler for that, and got that all put back together. I think that's the only place I use the plastic staple. But this is just invaluable if you're working on pachinkos, and obviously you've got plastic. If this were split, you could just put a couple of staples in it, and it would be just perfect. So, okay, so back to functional restoration. When I do a functional restoration, the guts come off. Everything about the guts comes off. I take all of this hardware off so that you just have the bare board. That's all that's left, is the bare board. Now that includes the launch mechanism and everything else. I sand this board down and get rid of the grime and dust and dirt that's on it, and then I give it a quick coat of polyurethane. It helps so that it doesn't absorb moisture. It also keeps the surface nice and smooth, because the balls do run against the board when the machine is in action. All of this has been taken off. This all gets torn apart. All the plastic obviously gets cleaned. All of the metal, in my case, goes in sonic cleaners. It gets rid of any, I always tell people don't lubricate them, but sometimes they get lubricated. But if they don't, there's just 50 years of grime on them. The sonic cleaners get rid of all of that, make all the metal nice and pretty again. All of the brass that's on this machine, there's not much brass showing, but there's some here. All of that I polish back up, get it nice and shiny. I just want it to look good. So the entire guts are cleaned and then reassembled. Now, once the guts are back on, the only thing that's left to do is the electrical system. Now, most machines they still have the power block, whatever you want to call it, that the parlors would hook into, or at least a plug or something up in this corner. This machine didn't. There was nothing here. The only thing that was here was the two micro switches, the jackpot switch, and some wires that had been cut. Now, who cut them, why they cut them, doesn't really matter, but I have no idea why that gets done. So I had to start from scratch with this and rebuild a complete harness. And again, I won't get into it too much right now, but I did make a video specifically about how I did this and hooked all the switches and wires in. So this particular machine has 3 light bulbs. There is a light bulb behind this circuit board. There is a light bulb right back in there, and there's a light bulb right here, right around the corner. And you'll see them light up when I turn the machine around. So let me plug the machine in, and I will turn it around. So this is the ball out light. That's the normal ball out light on most machines. We got a good shot of it. Yeah, okay. And then this one had a little area right here for a bulb. So I thought, what the heck, I'll put a bulb in there. There was a bulb in there. I'll wire it. So right now, both those lights come on when you do have the ball out light or the ball out condition. So they'll go out once we start to load it up. So again, for the new owner, you're going to plug it in. Your ball out lights will come on. Right now, as I speak, I'm talking to the customer. We're not sure if she wants to put it in a cabinet or keep it freestanding, so there's no feet on it or anything like that. So assuming that you have 500 Pachinko balls, you're going to load them in the upper hopper. Now, a couple of things you want to check. This is a maintenance piece right here, this little forky thing right there. This is a cover. This belongs down, but this maintenance piece will stop. I'll show you. It'll stop the flow of balls right here. So basically what they would do in the parlors, if they had to work on the jackpot and this was full, they would flip the forks over and then let the balls get out of here so they could work on it. And then once they were done, they would okay. As always, when I make videos, everything goes wrong. Okay, so one of the things that I forgot about, I had done a ball dump. So right here is the platform that bridges from here to here. And the L's, right now you can see the L's will swing down, and that's why all the balls went out. So what you want to do is make sure that you push this over, let the L's come up, and then let go. So now the L's, this is nice because you can see them in here, create the bridge. Let me come in a little tighter on it so you can see. Okay, the L's create the bridge that the balls are going to go across. Now that's the same on all Pachinko machines, but most of the time you can't see the L's. You can see them hanging down here, but you don't see this part, which is kind of nice now that you can see it. So now when I put the balls in, just a handful, they'll run the way they're supposed to. This particular machine was missing the cover for the lower feed track, so I just made one out of vinyl siding. So as you drop the balls in, they form a double row all the way down across and into the jackpot. The ball out lights, it's hard to see, but they're still on, and that's because of this condition. There's still not enough balls to make that weight transfer. So 500 balls is what you should have. 480 or so should be in here. You just need a small handful to get going. So now that I've got the balls in, this has come down. It's closed the micro switches, and both this light and that light have now gone off. So the machine is in a condition ready to play. The only other thing that you want to check is your seesaw. And again, it's nice to have the clear plastic. The seesaw is right in here. It's this piece that has 2 Pachinko balls trapped in it, right there. Okay, see the 2 Pachinko balls? They're supposed to be there. Don't try to get them out. And what you want to do with this is make sure that the seesaw is tipped this way, not that way. If it's tipped this way, your balls will jam. You want to make sure it's tipped this way. So to make sure that it is tipped up, which it is now, there's a little plunger right here. So if you ever see a condition where the seesaw is down, you simply push the plunger up and it will tip the seesaw up. Okay, so now you're set, seesaw's up, balls are loaded, everything's ready to go. What you do need is some sort of a catch basin, box, shoebox, anything will work. The losing balls are going to drop out of this chute, and the winning ball is going to drop out of this chute. This is a little bit too small, actually, to catch the winning ball, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but you need something that'll catch the balls. Okay, in the parlors, these would have dropped out and gone down someplace else, and somebody would take care of it. All right, so now we've got it fully loaded. Now, for anybody that's just watching this video, I do not suggest leaving the machine in this condition. What I mean by that is no support. This machine is extremely top heavy right now and is very prone to tipping over. If they tip, these are the first things that break on the front and the feed tray on the back. So you really want to avoid that. But again, because the customer hasn't chosen between wall mounting and having the feet, this is the way it is right now. So I'm going to drop some player balls, if you will, in the upper feed tray. And the only thing that I'm going to do is, if I put the stabilizing feet on, I now use these little wedges to ensure that the Pachinko machine is tipped back ever so slightly. You don't need it to be leaning way back, but you want to have it tipped back rather than having it tipped forward. This is my Homer clock. So once an hour, I get to hear my buddy Homer. Okay, so we've loaded the feed tray up. Now the spring tension is adjustable on these, and normally I try to adjust them so that the balls will lose their momentum right up in this area, but yet you need to be able to launch them a little further to get them to drop on this area. The nice thing about this one, after I rearranged it and got it set up, and this is the proper way to launch a Pachinko ball, by the way. Fingers under, thumb all the way down as far as it goes, and then let it go. And as you can see, it'll make it all the way over to the right side. And then you can still have a little less pressure on it to keep it on the left side, but most of the time it'll fall right down through the middle of the machine. Of course, see, when I make videos, nothing goes right. Well, there you go. Okay. Something got stuck back there. And of course, now that it's working right, nothing will go. So let me do this. My catch box tipped over. That's why the balls are going everywhere. When you go down through the middle of this, it can go one of two ways. That time it went this way. It can also go down on that side and open that. And there's a third pathway through there that would open that tulip. So now that we've got the tulips open, there we go. Pachinko balls all over the place. That's what's makes it all fun. I'm dropping on the floor. Don't worry, I'll pick them up. So that's the Sankyo from 1978. Hope you like it and watch that other video.